Welcome to Council Action. My name is Elizabeth Kautz. I'm the mayor of the city of Burnsville. Council Action is a summary of the council's meeting on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015. The meeting was called to order at 6:30 p.m. at 100 Civic Center Parkway in the council chambers. We begin our meetings with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we move on to our announcements. And our announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Council meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. And that meeting is going to be held at Diamond Head. And that is because Diamond Head Education Center, 200 West Burnsville Parkway. And that is because we are doing audio and visual equipment upgrades in the council chambers. And so that's why the meeting on Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. will be at Diamond Head. Now, on Tuesday, October 20th, we will be back at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. We have a work session that's scheduled for October 13th at 6:30 p.m., and that meeting will be also at Diamond Head Education Center, 200 West Burnsville Parkway. And then Tuesday, October 27th at 6:30 p.m., we are back at City Hall in the council chambers. Now, I want to remind everyone that we are in the midst of budget, and this is the schedule of meetings for Truth and Taxation and budgets. So the department budget presentations are scheduled for Tuesday, October 27th at 6:30 p.m. Then we have a budget work session on Tuesday, November 10th at 6:30 p.m. Another budget work session on Tuesday, November 24th at 6:30 p.m. And then we adopt the budget and the final levy, Tuesday, December 8th at 6:30 p.m. And all are invited to join us during our budget work sessions, and I'm happy to recognize anyone who wishes to speak during these budget sessions. We then move on to citizens' comments, and no one appeared before the City Council to speak to any items, and there were no emergency items to come before the City Council. We then move on to the consent agenda, and the first item on the consent agenda, we approved all of the minutes of our past meetings. We also approved claims listing, and then we also accepted the bids and awarded the contract to the Cabinet Store for the renovation of Fire Station 2 kitchen. We approved the stipulation for settlement with the Met Council on condemnation litigation. And we accepted the bids and awarded the contract for the 2015 lateral drainage modification and the 2015 corrugated metal pipe rehabilitation project. We also approved the resolution and adopted the assessments for the 2015 street rehabilitation improvement for the Burnsville Parkway. And we also approved the resolution rescinding the proposed assessment for 2015 street reclamation improvement. And this one was for 15-103 Parkwood Drive. And then we move on to H, and we approved the resolution and supported the application by the City of Apple Valley for a deed grant for Caramella in the City of Apple Valley. We approved the resolution to implement Independent School District 191's comprehensive plan, land use, guide plan, and map to change 5.5 acres of land from industrial office to low-density residential land use. And that was the end of the consent agenda. We then move on to the regular agenda, and the first item on the regular agenda was to waive the request for a conditional use permit fee and escrow for Doug Lawson at 14904 Viewcrest Lane. That item was presented, and the background reflected all of the answers to Mr. Lawson's remarks of the past meeting, and this item was approved. We then move on to 6, and this was a public hearing, and this is a resolution adopting the first half of 2016 code enforcement assessments. Actually, it is about the code enforcement assessments. And there were 5 that we received objections out of 33. And we approved the remainder and referred the 5 back to staff to work with the residents and their objections. And it will come back to us on the meeting of Tuesday, October 20th. So there were 5 objections. Those were pulled and sent back to staff, and then we will get more information after our staff work with each of these residents on those objections. But the rest were approved. And then I recessed the Burnsville City Council meeting so the Economic Development Authority meeting can convene. The Economic Development Authority meeting was called to order, and on the agenda, one item on the consent agenda, and that was the approval of minutes of the September 8th meeting, and that item was approved. And there was only one item on the regular agenda, and that was to adopt the resolution approving the purchase and development contract between the Burnsville Economic Development Authority and GH Minnesota LLC. That item was presented, the public hearing was open and closed. No one spoke to the item, and the item was approved. There were no other items to come before the Economic Development Authority, and that meeting was adjourned. I then reconvened the Burnsville City Council meeting, and Mr. Lawson, who was delayed in arriving for his item, we gave him the opportunity to speak. It did not change the vote of the council, and if you wish to see the exchange with Mr. Lawson, do so by viewing it when it's aired or streaming it. The meeting was then adjourned, and I'd like to remind everyone that council action replays at 6 a.m. and noon, 6 p.m. and midnight, and city council meetings replay at various times on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And I encourage you to watch the following to see how you can view past meetings and current meetings via the internet at www.burnsville.org. I'm Elizabeth Kautz, Mayor of the City of Burnsville. Thank you for joining me, and continue to make a difference.